You're listening to Chatcast with your host, Tracee Dunblazier, the award-winning podcast that features interviews with luminaries of the mind-body-spirit marketplace. You'll hear from book authors and publishers, store owners and product creators, filmmakers, musicians, and many more, who'll all share insight and wisdom to help open your eyes to new creative possibilities. If you fancy yourself as a visionary thinker, then Chatcast is the place for you. Now, here's your host, spiritual empath, shaman, and best-selling author, Tracee Dunblazier.
Good afternoon, everybody. Nice to see you. Welcome to Chatcast. Today, we've got a very special guest with us today, Bill Harvey. He is the founder of the Human Effectiveness Institute. You can see the humaneffectivenessinstitute.org at the bottom, so you definitely want to check them out. But he's also an award-winning author, and his latest in a series, this is the first of the series, it's a book called The Great Being. So we're going to tune in with Bill and talk about his business, how he runs the Institute, what gave him the idea for the Institute, and then how he comes up with his creative ideas for all of his really engaging books. So everybody, I want you to welcome Bill Harvey.
Thank you so much, Tracee. It's great to see you again.
Nice to see you. It looks like it's a lovely day where you are.
Oh, yeah. We finally got the great summer weather.
Nice. Very nice. So tell me, let's start by talking a little bit about the Human Effectiveness Institute. What is it? When did you start it, and why?
I started it in 1976. It's a 501c3 nonprofit corporation.
Okay.
So far, what it's done is publish my books and some videos, several hundred videos.
Right.
But the objective is to get people to understand metacognition and flow state, so that people can get into those states more often, possibly even live their life in those states.
Right. And so when you talk about metacognition, tell me what exactly do you mean by that?
Well, I call it really the observer state.
Okay.
Metacognition is, the official psychology term for it. What it means is watching your own thoughts and feelings with some degree of detachment.
Got it.
So that you don't automatically act it out. Like if you have a feeling to say something mean to somebody else,
right.
You don't have to actually do it.
Right. Okay. And then when you talk about getting into a flow state, that seems I hear that term a lot lately, especially. So tell me what you mean by that. What does it look like if we're in a flow state?
It's performing at above the level you thought you were capable of, and it's doing itself.
Okay. And I sense that the missing link in that is the idea of when you're in a flow state, you also are looking at it or working without detachment. So you're flowing, you're being present, but you're just moving right along with things and not worrying about what comes next or what just happened.
Very much so.
Okay.
You're not concerned about the outcome. It's almost like playing.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh, sorry. That was Charlotte. She has the loudest meow, and there is just no trying to quiet her. So we're just going to have to be in a flow state with my menagerie of animals here. So what gave you? So first of all, this is Agents of Cosmic Intelligence, Episode 1, an alternative view of history, the Great Being. First of all, tell me a little bit about what this book is about and what the series is about, and then how did you come up with that idea? Like, why was it important for you to write about this now?
It's actually been a lifetime mission, self-explanatory mission that started when I was very young, 4 or 5 years old, I started to become very introspective and spent a lot of time with my own mind, observing it.
Hmm.
And I was able to see that some of the things that came up in my mind were imitative. I was really playing back a recording of something somebody I respected said, my father,
Okay.
my mother, etc. And then I also noticed that there was one voice in my head that always gave me good advice and was never wrong.
Oh,
And
uh-huh.
so by the time I was 12 years old, I learned to pay attention whenever that voice was telling me to do something. And one now at the time I was an atheist,
Okay.
or you could say my religion was science.
Right.
Um, but I didn't believe that any of the things that religion tried to teach me were more than superstition.
Okay.
And then at age 12, suddenly that voice spoke to me and said, I am God and so is everyone else. So obviously that caused me a bit of consternation since I was an atheist.
Right.
At the same time, it was that voice that was never wrong.
Right.
And I also, when I thought back about it, there was something I was thinking logically right up until that point, but I wasn't paying much attention to what I was thinking. And
Right.
I came up with that at the end of a string of logical deductions, but I couldn't remember what they were.
Right.
So for the next 20 years, it took me 20 years to put it back together as to how I figured out.
Interesting.
So my philosophy, my view of reality is that we are all one consciousness together.
Hmm.
And the one self is, we think of it, it's us, it's
Right.
me, but it's really all of us, the one self living through me.
Right. Right.
And, um, and the universe also, through that voice or
Hmm.
in other ways, gives us clues about things to do. It doesn't necessarily come in our own mind. It could come through a radio program in
Okay.
the background and a piece of music, and all of a sudden the lyrics of the music are exactly relevant to what we're thinking about.
Right. Yeah.
Synchronicity. And it's trying to tell us something. It's trying to help us. It's
Right.
trying to help us get back through the long and winding road to who we really are,
Hmm.
no matter how many lifetimes it takes.
Right.
So I wanted to write about that, so I did. But I
Hmm.
wrote initially nonfiction books.
Yes.
And my very first book didn't even bring up, it did, toward the end, it did say identify with the universe. Visualize the universe is one thing, identify with the universe, root for the universe. But in that first book, I didn't want to tell the whole story. Then I had another nonfiction book called You Are the Universe, in which I poured out my theory.
Right.
And then I said, the one thing about this that's incomplete is people, this is hard for people to understand when I talk this way.
Right. Right.
If I were to put it into fiction, where it could be entertaining and enjoyable,
Yes.
in a novel, you can get into people's heads. You can
Yes.
talk about what they're thinking and feeling, but it's more like real life. Story and life are.
Right.
So that's what got me into wanting to write this series of books, which the outline has 15 books outlined, and I've done the first four. And you're right at
Wow.
the beginning of the story.
Hmm. That's amazing. The interesting thing I find with because I too write nonfiction, and when I started working on it, I have a series of 3 books. But one of the things that I found is I have a parable that I start out with, which if people want to receive it as fiction or storytelling, they can do that. And when they start out with having the freedom to believe something or not, that allows them to receive the rational brain information you want them to receive, which is the how to, and to connect to it in a sense of freedom. So I think that's amazing. It was, a great choice to really focus on, again, giving people the freedom to receive your information and experience their own story in it.
Well, that puts into words what I've been doing, but I didn't articulate it as well.
Yeah, it's the brain is an amazing contraption.
Yeah.
Exactly. So when you write, do you have a specific process that you use
Well, I take
or
notes.
protocol?
I take notes like whenever my mind comes up with, often it comes up with like phrases, and
Hmm.
I say, well, that's a great phrase, a great line. I
Yeah,
write it down, and then eventually I see that I'm either writing an article or a book or I'm writing something because these phrases are all about the same subject and they
right.
interrelate. So then I have to kind of organize them, and then I know, okay, this is actually a whole book,
Hmm.
and then something happens. I don't rush right in and start to try to write it.
Right.
But all of a sudden, sometimes at 3 o'clock in the morning,
Hmm.
it starts to come through, and I just have to go to the computer and start to put it down. And it's like
Yeah.
taking transcription.
Yes. That was going to be my next question. Are you a day writer or a night writer? And because I find that I too like I feel that channel that the inscription starting to come in dream time, and then I've got to get up and start capture it, because if you wait till the morning and you wake up, it's like boop, it's gone.
Yeah, you got to capture it.
You really do.
And it happens in the daytime too.
Okay.
It's around the clock. It could happen at any time. My
Okay.
wife says, "Where are you going?" And I have to write. She understands.
Exactly. And so tell me about your relationship. Uh, your wife. So how long have you been married?
It's 23 years.
Wow. And so she understands your creative process.
Oh, very well. Yeah,
Uh-huh.
she um, she's been a Saivite at an ashram for 35 years. Something
Okay.
like that. Before that, she was an academic dean. But when I met her, it was a magical situation. She had heard a voice telling her, "Go to New Paltz tomorrow. You'll meet the man that you'll spend the rest of your life with."
Wow. That certainly makes it easy. That's lucky.
Yeah,
Well, wonderful. I'm sorry, say that again.
we're blessed.
Yeah, that's beautiful. So tell me about the business of writing. How do you handle the business of writing? Do you produce your own books? Do you market your own books? Like how do you deal with the business, the back end of the publishing industry?
Well, it's funny when we started. It was 1976.
Right.
No internet.
Very different. Yes.
Um, Not many self-published authors. There was
Right.
Vanity Press, where you could pay somebody and they would put a book out for you.
Right.
Um, but there weren't many authors who published their own works. So
Right.
we started by doing a short run, 1,000 copies of my first book, Mind Magic, which
Uh-huh.
is now sold over 35,000 copies,
Wow.
8 printings. So we printed it. Um, Somebody who I couldn't afford to pay, but uh, she believed in the work, so she went to bookstores. A couple of years went by. By
Yeah.
1983, we were in about 500 bookstores across the country and the
Wow.
world. Yeah, and the book was being used at 34 universities, and it's all.
Yeah.
You spoke to her on the phone, I think, Yana.
Yes, of course.
Yes, owe it all to her.
Yeah, she's no joke. She is a go getter.
And um, what actually the situation now is, in the 1970s, there weren't many books about consciousness.
Hmm.
Be Here Now, my book, maybe 2 dozen others.
Wow.
And we read all the other two dozen. They were wonderful. And we
Right.
had a feeling that something great is coming here. This is the revolution. This is the age of Aquarius. This is going to make everything wonderful, utopia. Uh,
Hmm.
Everyone's going to realize that we're all one thing together, and
Right.
competition will be replaced by cooperation and love.
Hmm.
Getting a little longer than we expected, and some wrong turns along the way. And it's always darkest before the dawn. But it's actually harder to sell books today than it was
Yes.
then, because now the zone is flooded.
There are thousands. I just decided to Google how many people were on the planet in 1970 to give us like an idea. There's 3.6 to 3.7 billion people on the earth in 1970 as compared to 7.4 or whatever it is today. So half the amount of people were on the planet in the 70s. So uh, and now at least a million of them are mind body spirit authors,
That's right.
consciousness authors.
In a way, that's good news, but it makes the
It
business
is.
selling books harder.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely have to. How do you relate to your now? I love the fact that you really pushed the academic aspect, because I think that's a great place to start, because when you start in the colleges, those people or you cultivate a relationship with somebody at an open minded time, and then once you make that relationship, then you carry that throughout their lifetime, and that's a great marketing strategy. How else do you market, or do
Well,
you at this point?
we do all the usual things nowadays, Goodreads, Amazon, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera,
Right.
et cetera. And we do videos. So there's hundreds of videos on TikTok and YouTube. Some of them are just me. Some of them are um, kind of a slideshow with me talking in the background or somebody else talking in the background. Some of
Okay.
them are beautiful nature footage with a voiceover.
Okay.
Some of them are, there's a woman named Natalie Johnston.
Mm-hmm.
She and I do a series called The Power of You. And she puts it up on Instagram, and I put it up on YouTube, and so on and so forth.
Nice.
So we're doing all those things. Now, I also have a blog which came out of, since I'm in the media business,
Mm-hmm.
I have got a blog in a periodical called The Media Village. So,
Okay.
so every week I come out with a 600 to 1,500 word blog post about the media business. And
Okay.
the people who receive that, it's like 3,000 or so subscribers,
Mm-hmm.
are now, since the last 10 years, are also getting my consciousness blog, which is called Pebbles in the Pond.
Right.
So people in the media business are now hearing about these weird ideas of we're all one thing together and stuff
Right.
that they might normally not have thought about or read about, but they're
Right.
hearing about it from somebody whose business acumen they trust. So it's
Yeah.
10
Again,
years.
that's that creative slash rational mind connection. They associate you with the rational mind, but then you sneak right in to the intuitive self.
So So we do all of those different things.
Hmm.
Um, we're exploring now, how can we get on more bookshelves in bookstores?
Yes.
That's something we're trying to do. Um, and somebody contacted me, and you know how these things happen with emails. You get so many emails, so many
Yes.
people who either read some one of your books or want to help you sell books.
Right.
And so this one was a little different, and I paid attention and met the fellow. Turns out he's an Academy Award winning filmmaker.
Hmm.
For some reason, thought that I might have an interest in turning my books into movies or television shows.
Yeah, perfect for that.
So he's mentoring me, and he's got a bunch of producer contacts because he's in the business. He's
Right.
making stuff. So we'll see where that goes.
Good. Yes. Well, yeah, good luck with that, because that's your
Thank you.
books are perfect for that. And I think that people are craving more and more, mm, I want to say upgraded, if you will, but where the information is just a more subtle vibration of, it's less about wartime and deep resistance and more about shifting mores of how a society works. You know what I mean, and how we relate to that. So I think that your book and your series is a great thing to option for a television series or show.
Thank
So
you.
I'm excited for that for you.
Well, hopefully we can uplift people and bring back optimism.
Yes. Yes. Optimism has been on the shelf. It completely has. Absolutely. So what do you have any idea to wrap up? Do you have any advice for somebody wanting to write a book today?
Well, I want people to do that. I want them to find their expression, their way of giving their gift to the world. Everybody's
Right.
unique. I mean, that's why we're here. That's why we're individuals, because we've got some unique something to give.
Right.
And when we do our passion work, we get into the flow state. So we do higher quality work.
Yes.
So, our day-to-day day job pays us the money, keeps the food on the table, but may not be letting us express who we really are, what we're here to do.
Right.
So if they have any inkling that what they have inside of them is a book they have to write, they have to write it
Right.
without being attached to it being a success,
Yes.
making a lot of money. I mean,
Yes.
they do all the normal things to get the book into publication and circulation and reach
Yeah.
audiences, but they should don't hesitate to write it.
Right. Oh, I have conversations with people all the time. People who come to me as clients, as a publisher, and they want to write a book, and then they're like, but and 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 they want to write a book, and then they don't ever end up taking those steps because they say, oh, I'm never going to be number one, or I'm never going to be X, and that's not the point at all. And you can't, like, the other thing too, I find just in the writing process, is people don't really want to start because they have this illusion that your first draft is the book, right? And like the first draft is you just going blah, and then you take that and you cut and paste and edit it into, sculpt it into the book that you end up selling.
They shouldn't try to edit while they're writing.
No, exactly. So
Let it out. Let it come out. If it doesn't make sense to you, it might later. When you read it later, just let it come out. Whatever's trying to come out, just do it. Put it down.
yes, and I find that's really how sometimes as we channel, we can channel through a very complex idea, and we may be able to put that into words. But then when you read when you read it later, it's so complex that you're like, okay, now it needs to be distilled again, right? Like, what are the finer points of what I'm trying to say? And so the process, I think, of the writing is to help you really get to the finer points of what you are seeking to express rather than the expression of it itself.
Yes. I remember refine, refine, refine
Hmm.
was one of my mentors' mantras.
Yes, absolutely. So, tell us where we can reach you. I mean, you've got your humaneffectiveness institute.org here at the bottom of the video. Is there any other place that people can see your work? What's your YouTube? Any of
Yeah,
your
yeah.
handles?
The YouTube, the YouTube channel is available on the website.
Okay, good. So if they just go to your website, they'll find all your social channels and everywhere if they want to reach out. And then, of course, your books are available anywhere books are sold and on your site, I'm assuming.
Sure.
Wonderful. Well, Bill, it has been such a pleasure. This is the second time we've gotten to speak, but it's been a few years, and I always enjoy our conversations.
Me too.
Yeah, so best of luck with your series. And we're going to, the Coalition of Visionary Resources, which you participate with us a lot, will be in Minnesota this year for the Cover Visionary Awards ceremony. So we're finally going to do an in-person thing. So hopefully you and you'll be able to come, or Yana, one of your representatives, will hopefully be there.
We always cover it. Yeah, absolutely. We love it.
Yes. So have a wonderful rest of your day, and
Thank
we'll check in again soon.
See you soon.